Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk about Gotham FC and their chances in the 2026 NWSL season. And I think that Gotham are heading into this season with, well, what's the question on everyone's mind? Are they still a championship team or are they going to level off? Because last year was a bit disjointed, but wow, what a run. And I wish they hadn't beaten my Spirit hometown team in the final, but wow. They deserved to raise that trophy based on what they did in the playoffs. There's no doubt about that. Okay. This team did not tear everything up in the offseason. Of course, there were some changes, but it wasn't like a panic reset or anything like that because, well, they just won again. So you're looking at what you got on your roster, and yeah, there's some legs that are starting to age, but a lot of them are like fine wine, and they're just getting better with time. So they're definitely not in a rebuild mode. They looked at a championship core team that they had, and they basically said, okay, let's run it back a little bit. And honestly, that makes Gotham one of the most dangerous teams in the league still, because let's look at what they have still. Okay, you're talking about Rose Lavelle, you're talking about Emily Sonnet, Jess Carter, Jaden Shaw, Esther. Okay, there's names there that, yes, those legs are well, not Jaden Shaw, she's still a youngster, but that's some serious talent right in the spine of the team right there. And that's why Gotham is such a problem. Okay, they're not built on hype. There's a lot of workman-like players in there with a bit of technical ability, but it's like when you're thinking of the league, you're not automatically going, Gotham, what, full of stars? But they are full of stars, and they're players that know how to handle pressure. Because at times last year they were just god awful in the back, and two stalwarts, and Emily Sonnet and Jess Carter, were just terrible at times. But especially Emily Sonnet has gone up and down her whole career, and every time you think you should count her out, she comes back, because Sonnet is the type of player and person that you want your daughter to grow up to be. Okay, she's the perfect teammate. She does whatever she's asked. If she's on the bench, she's on the bench. If she's starting, and she gives you leadership, and she never quits. Back when she was young, it was a toss-up between between her and Katie McCabe, which is a bigger psycho in women's soccer. And Sonnet has matured and gained some wisdom as she's grown up and gotten older, whereas McCabe is just a full-on psycho still, which is not always a good thing, no matter how talented you are. But let's look at a couple things. They know how to manage games. They know how to manage clock for sure. They know how to stay in games. They know how to win ugly, and they know how to win when it matters most. And that goes a long way to becoming a championship team or repeating, etc., always being in the conversation. And so let's get into the offseason a bit, though, because Gotham's basic theme is continuity, okay? They already know how to compete, of course, and when you have players like Lavelle and Shaw in midfield, players like Sonnet and Carter in the back managing things, you don't need to really blow everything up, okay? That's a good spine core right there in the middle of the field. But they did add some veteran leadership with Savannah McCaskill coming in, okay? And that's such a Gotham move. She's not flashy. She's not really trendy. She's not a big headline grabber, but she's a proven player with edge, experience, some toughness to her, and another layer of competitiveness that's just going to be in that midfield. So when you put her next to players like Lavelle and Jaden Shaw, not to mention, let's look back. Torres, okay? Shapansky, Cook, Howell. 4 other big names that give support to that midfield that makes it extra strong, okay? Lavelle gives you class. Shaw gives you dynamism, okay, and unpredictability. McCaskill gives you that bite you need, and the rest of them, like I mentioned, gives you balance, gives a balance to that midfield. It's a nasty combination. And then let's look at the new player drafted, or however you got it, new signed player coming in for her rookie season in Jordan Dudley. That move could be huge because Gotham are not only trying to stay dangerous now, they're also trying to keep fresh attackers on, maybe give more support to Esther in there as well. Dudley gives them youth, upside, athleticism, another player that's going to grow into a real weapon. She's coming out of college as a proven winner already with at least 2 NCAA championships there. And that's how teams like Gotham stay strong. And then maybe the biggest boost of all, okay, Tierna Davidson's back from that injury because it sucked when she went down last year. That was a big loss. And that might not just be like a new signing. It just lifts morale, okay? It's going to feel like a new signing, but it's just going to lift morale. So that's going to give them, they're going to be more settled in the back, more organized, more dangerous. And when you combine that with Sonnet and Carter's experience, suddenly Gotham looked like a team that's going to be very, very hard to break down. And because that was the problem. After some injuries, they were easier to break down. So let's look at some of the biggest reasons they're still contenders. And they have high-end players in key areas. Okay, you still have Lavelle, you have Shaw, you have Astaire. Astaire can finish games, Shaw can change games, and Lavelle can control games. Not to mention she can break a game open out of nothing. Okay, that's a terrifying spine right there. So let's talk about Astaire though, because she has to be right in the middle of this conversation. She's one of those players that gave Gotham a real edge in that final third last year. She can score, she can punish mistakes, and she can make defenders panic. I certainly think I'd be panicking if I'd see her dribbling at me on that. Plus, she just disappears and pops up in spaces and channels, and you're like, what the hell happened? Next thing you know, it's in the back of your goal. So if Gotham are going to make another serious run, Astaire is going to have to be in most of those games and stay healthy. Because in tight matches and playoff-type matches, you need somebody who can turn one chance into one goal, and Astaire can do that. And that's hopefully what they're going to get with Jordan Dudley down the road. I also forgot to mention Midge Purse. That's a big deal that she's still here and settled. And it's hard to believe that Midge Purse is 30 years old because it feels like yesterday it was her first year. They did lose some faces. They lost Portillo. They lost Hasbo. Stevens didn't come back. Another player went back from loan to Man United, and they lost a few others that were out of contract. Okay, but really strong teams can get thinner faster than people think when you lost those. But I think the return parts for the players they brought in versus what they lost, they still got stronger. I didn't even mention that you still have Ann Katrinberger in goal. That's a big deal. You still have Sonnet helping lead, like I said. Just Carter giving you defensive class. Lavelle and Shaw giving you creativity in the midfield. Astaire doing what she does best. But then I have to mention Lily Riel, okay? The 2025 Rookie of the Year. She's just going to get stronger, too, in that back line. And that is a huge thing because there's just so much upside to her. And like I said, Midge Purse staying around in the picture, that's good, too. She brings pace. She brings directness. She brings some personality, which I really enjoy from her. And she brings that big game energy that people really want to see. But more importantly, I think she could just come in off the bench if she's not starting, and she will make that difference for you because she's also a player that will play her role, whether she's starting or coming off the bench, and she will give you 100% effort each time she steps on the field for you. And if you don't love that, you don't love sports, okay? So Gotham has multiple layers that they can deal with, okay? So what's the big concern that people may have going into this season? Staying healthy, okay? Depth. It does look a little thin after the first 12 to 14 players. And some aging legs in there. And because if key players miss time, that might screw them up in the standings again. But as we all saw, they only needed to make the playoffs. They didn't have to be the top seed, and they came home with the playoff title. The Shield is the Shield, but the way it runs in this place and country, it's playoffs, which I hate the fact that you can win 3 games basically and be called champion. But that's beside the point, okay? Because they did what they needed to do, and they are the playoff champion. Anyway, injuries can cause some cracks to show in this team early if that happens, okay? But it's not going to be because they lack talent. It's not going to be because they lack experience. It's just injuries could deal, it would make the margins of victory thinner. But with the players they have, I think they're just going to be fine. And they should be in the conversation in the top 5 finish. There's no doubt about it. So my hot take is this. Gotham may still have not won the offseason with a bunch of flashy moves, but they are far from losing the offseason battle. And the fact is, the offseason doesn't matter for crap. 26 regular season games in the playoffs is what matters. So show up every week, get the job done, and Gotham will go far. Hopefully keep the injury demons away with some nice, gifts for them or something. And then we'll see what happens because they're not rebuilding. They're not taking time off to reset even. They're probably just going to go out and do what Gotham does, which is be very entertaining and always compete every single week. So they're going to be back to causing nightmares for other teams, and I look forward to that. So thank you for stopping by today. I know this one went a bit long, so I'm going to give a short plug. My family's in trouble. There's ways you can help below, but a big thing you can do is buy a U.S. soccer hat directly from our site. Links below, and it will help out. My wife's been battling an incurable cancer for 1.5 years, and life is hard, as we all know. So see you in the next video, and hopefully the season starts well and injury-free for every single team out there. Bye-bye.